The rejection happened so many times that even the receptionist stopped looking surprised. Week after week, a tired single father carrying a worn leather folder stood outside one of the largest technology companies in the country, hoping someone would finally listen to an idea that could prevent catastrophic equipment failures. Every single time, the CEO refused to see him. She believed he was wasting her company's time. Less than a year later, every product on her assembly line came to a screeching halt because the one invention she had laughed at belonged to the very man she had dismissed. Millions of dollars disappeared by the hour, thousands of jobs hung in the balance, and the only person who could save the company was the father she had turned away again and again. If you believe kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Rowan Mercer had never expected life to become so quiet after losing his wife. The laughter that once filled their modest home had been replaced by the sound of alarm clocks, school lunches being packed before sunrise, and the tiny footsteps of his 8-year-old daughter, Hazel, trying her best not to make her father worry. Every morning began with sunlight pouring through old kitchen curtains as Rowan reminded himself that no matter how difficult life became, Hazel deserved to see hope instead of fear. He repaired industrial machines for small manufacturers during the day and spent every spare hour improving an engineering concept he had developed years earlier with his late wife. It was not a glamorous invention. It was a safety monitoring system capable of predicting mechanical failure long before expensive equipment broke down. To Rowan, it represented security for working families. To investors, it looked boring. To executives, it seemed unnecessary. Across the city, Celeste Hawthorne stood at the top of Hawthorne Dynamics, a company celebrated for innovation and aggressive expansion. Business magazines praised her confidence, investors admired her bold decisions, and competitors feared her relentless determination. She had inherited the company from her father after spending years proving she was capable of leading it. Every hour of every day was carefully scheduled. Every meeting had a purpose. Every interruption was considered a threat to efficiency. When assistants informed her that another independent inventor wanted 10 minutes to demonstrate a safety system, she dismissed the request without reading the proposal. The company already had engineers. Why waste time listening to a struggling mechanic with no prestigious employer behind him? Rowan refused to quit. Every rejection letter went into the same folder instead of the trash. He believed that persistence mattered because his daughter watched everything he did. Hazel never asked why her father kept traveling across town wearing his only suit. She simply hugged him every morning, handed him a small folded drawing for good luck, and whispered that heroes never stop trying. Those little drawings remained tucked inside Rowan's notebook, reminding him that success was measured by courage long before money. Months passed beneath bright blue skies and warm afternoon sunlight. Rowan survived by repairing worn-out equipment in aging factories where owners appreciated honesty more than polished presentations. Every repair taught him something new, strengthening his invention until it became impossible to ignore from a technical perspective. Eventually, he secured a patent after years of sacrifice. The document arrived in the mail on a beautiful sunny afternoon, and Hazel celebrated by hanging it on the living room wall beside a family photograph. Rowan smiled, not because he expected instant wealth, but because nobody could ever take away the years of work that piece of paper represented. Meanwhile, Hawthorne Dynamics rushed development of a revolutionary industrial machine that promised faster production than anything else available. Celeste demanded rapid release dates, believing speed would secure market dominance. Her engineering teams worked tirelessly, but under pressure they overlooked one critical weakness buried deep within the system. Machines began failing unexpectedly during testing. Engineers replaced components, rewrote software, and redesigned mechanical parts, yet failures continued. Customers complained. Factory owners demanded refunds. News spread quickly through the manufacturing industry, and confidence in the company's flagship product began to collapse. One bright morning, the legal department entered Celeste's office carrying expressions she had never seen before. An independent patent holder had filed notices against Hawthorne Dynamics, claiming their latest product relied upon technology protected by his intellectual property. Production would have to stop immediately unless licensing agreements were reached or courts ruled otherwise. Celeste expected the patent owner to be a multinational corporation eager for negotiations. Instead, the folder revealed a familiar face she barely remembered noticing in her lobby. Rowan Mercer. For the first time in years, Celeste stared silently at a photograph instead of issuing orders. Memories returned with uncomfortable clarity. The patient father waiting politely. The receptionist apologizing repeatedly. The unopened proposal left untouched on conference tables. She realized she had never actually evaluated his work. She had evaluated his appearance. Production lines stopped. Investors panicked. Financial analysts predicted staggering losses. Newspapers questioned the company's leadership. Employees feared layoffs. Every passing hour threatened families who depended upon their paychecks. Celeste finally understood that arrogance had become more expensive than any engineering mistake. She requested a meeting immediately. Rowan accepted, but not out of revenge. He arrived wearing the same carefully maintained suit, carrying the same leather folder, except this time nobody ignored him. Executives greeted him personally. Doors opened before he reached them. Coffee waited on polished tables. The contrast was impossible to miss, yet Rowan remained calm because bitterness had never helped him raise his daughter. Celeste expected anger. Instead, she found quiet dignity. Rowan explained that he had never wanted lawsuits. He had wanted collaboration from the beginning because his technology could protect workers, reduce waste, and save companies millions before failures occurred. He admitted that filing legal action had been his last option after discovering the unauthorized similarities. His patent represented years of sacrifice shared with his late wife, and protecting it meant protecting the future he hoped to build for Hazel. Listening without interruption became the hardest task Celeste had faced in years. She realized every excuse forming in her mind sounded empty compared to the reality sitting across the table. She had judged determination as desperation. She had mistaken humility for weakness. Instead of demanding impossible licensing fees, Rowan proposed something unexpected. He offered a fair partnership that would allow Hawthorne Dynamics to continue manufacturing while integrating his technology properly. In return, he requested recognition for his invention, fair compensation, and scholarship supporting young inventors who lacked financial advantages. Every executive around the table expected ruthless negotiation. Instead, they witnessed generosity. Celeste felt something change inside her. Success had taught her how to win markets but not how to value people. She apologized sincerely, acknowledging every meeting she had refused, every opportunity she had ignored, and every unfair assumption she had made. It was not a carefully rehearsed corporate statement. It was an honest admission from someone finally confronting her own pride. The partnership transformed both lives. Engineers worked alongside Rowan, discovering that his practical experience solving real factory problems complemented their academic expertise perfectly. Product failures disappeared as predictive monitoring prevented breakdowns before they occurred. Customers returned. Confidence recovered. Employees kept their jobs. Investors celebrated the company's remarkable turnaround, but those inside the organization knew the greatest victory had nothing to do with quarterly profits. Hazel visited headquarters one sunny afternoon during a family appreciation event. She wandered through bright laboratories holding her father's hand while employees thanked him for protecting their livelihoods. Celeste knelt beside the little girl and noticed one of the familiar folded drawings peeking from Rowan's notebook. Hazel explained that she made a new picture every time her father attended an important meeting because courage deserved encouragement. The simplicity of those words reached deeper than any boardroom presentation ever had. Inspired by Rowan's example, Celeste introduced a new company policy ensuring every inventor, entrepreneur, or independent engineer received a genuine review regardless of appearance, background, or financial status. Reception staff no longer turned hopeful visitors away with rehearsed apologies. Experienced engineers volunteered time evaluating new ideas. Some proposals failed, others succeeded, but every person received respect. Months later, Rowan stood before a group of engineering students beneath warm afternoon sunshine during the opening ceremony of the scholarship program funded by the partnership. Looking across eager young faces, he spoke about perseverance, explaining that rejection could become preparation instead of defeat if people refused to surrender their integrity. He reminded them that inventions changed industries, but character changed lives. Celeste attended quietly from the audience rather than the stage. Watching Rowan receive a standing ovation, she realized leadership was measured less by authority than by the willingness to admit mistakes and grow beyond them. The applause belonged not only to an inventor but to a father who had chosen hope over resentment when he had every reason to choose revenge. Before we reach the end of this journey, take a moment to leave a meaningful comment sharing whether you believe perseverance or forgiveness is the greater strength, and tell us what lesson from Rowan's story touched your heart the most. As the afternoon sun settled gently across the city, Rowan and Hazel walked home together carrying nothing more valuable than peace. The patent had brought financial security, but the greatest reward was knowing that kindness had accomplished what anger never could. Celeste returned to her office with renewed purpose, determined that no dream would ever again be ignored simply because it arrived in worn shoes carrying an old leather folder. Two people from completely different worlds discovered that humility could rebuild what pride had nearly destroyed, and that one compassionate decision could protect thousands of families while healing hearts that success alone could never reach. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. May this story remind you that every person deserves to be heard, every dream deserves a chance, and every act of kindness has the power to change a life forever.